Hello and welcome to this video. The video will be about my field of study and more specifically a movie that talk about my field of study. The movie I choose is the Stanford Prison Experiment. I choose that movie because it talks a lot about the ethical point of view about experiment in psychology and I wanted to have an excuse to watch that movie, and this homework was a really good excuse to explore a little bit of the movie and have a critical view of that movie too. It is really related to my fellow study because it's about experiment, how we get to have a conclusion nowadays, and it's all about those experiments that are sometimes not really ethical, but sometimes you have to push a little bit the boundaries to get the conclusion you really want, and this is a really good example of that, and how an experiment with a really valid and good idea can go wrong and how. So it was really interesting for that. Um, it was really easy to find a movie that was talking about psychology in general, because acting is all about knowing the psychology of a character and everything. I wanted to talk a little bit more about addiction because I work in that and I want to study it after psychology. But I think sometimes they put too much emphasizes on you start with cannabis and then you're going to be a heroin addict and you're going to lose your arm, for example, in Requiem for a Dream. And it's not a movie you watch twice. I wanted to go with more of the psychological relationship we can have, as you can see in the movie Good Will Hunting. There was a really good example with the late Robin Williams character and Matt Damon Will Hunting. Uh, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about the ethical part of psychology because I'm studying it right now, and I was doing my class in social psychology, and sometimes I had some moral question about how we get to have conclusion we have now, and how sometimes experimenters use people as guinea pig or mice or whatever. And I think the Stanford Present Experiment is a really good example of that. Um, so to summarize a little bit more the story, it's about the Dr. Philip Zimbardo that was a teacher in Stanford University in 1971. And he did that experiment where he put male college student in a simulation of a prison, and he decided a little bit with the interviews and by flipping coins who's going to be the prisoner and who's going to be the guard. And then he wanted to do that in 1 or 2 weeks. It ended up just uh, just went on about 4 days in total because he went a little bit out of control. And the movies is all about that. It's how it goes inside the prison, and how the Dr. Zimbardo and his student went a little bit too excited about what they were saying, and they went a little bit far because at the beginning they say we're gonna stop the study if it get physical, but then when it get physical they kind of went out of their mind by saying like, okay, we're gonna do it like that. Oh, prisoner, you're there because you deserve it, and blah blah blah. So it was really interesting for that. And the conclusion of the Dr. Zimbardo in his study was cruel action are influenced by toxic leadership. So you kind of see that in that movie, and it was really interesting for that. So yeah, so throughout the movie, you see how they start by the guard being really authoritarian and asking the prisoner to do push-ups and everything, and then in the end they were tying them up, they were placed in the hole for ridiculous reason. And it's really interesting how it escalated really really quickly, and they used the prisoner lost their sense of time, and you can see all this going on, and all the time you question, when are you gonna stop? Do you understand that they agreed to be there? And yeah, Stanford Prison Experiment is an interesting movie about the ethical of research in psychology. So that's it, and see you in class. Bye.